Akpi.
Akpi.
Yeah, Akpi. Like the dance itself, it's a strong dance. Akpi. You know, Bobo, you know, you need energy to dance Bobo.
Yeah.
If you are not strong, forget about
all the dance moves from the Volta region, you need a lot of
No,
energy.
in fact, from all parts of the country.
Yeah.
Adowa, Kete, Palogo, Ogbene. No. If you are not healthy, forget about it.
But we are still looking for that
Bamaya and
Akpi
all
dance. We are still looking for
Yeah,
The
because
chairman did not let us
we
dance.
missed. No, chairman didn't try for us. We missed the opportunity to learn the Akpi dance. Akpi. Akpi, please, if you know the Akpi dance, do a small 30 seconds. 30 seconds demonstration and share with us on our Facebook page 3FM927.
Akpi dance.
Only Akpi.
Don't dance any other dance.
Yeah, just Akpi.
I think it would have been some source of pride for the people of Volta region to see Akpi on TV.
Charlie, so I just googled Akpi and there's a fearless Leati warrior performing a cultural dance called Akpi, and he's on the rooftop.
So we needed a rooftop.
That was why the chairman overruled the thing. No. Maybe this one overdid it. But Akpi dance. Akpi
Causing chaos.
No. We want to know the Akpi dance. In the meantime, enjoy good Bobo music. That's right.
The best in the morning is on 92.
Where President John Dramani Mahama will deliver his first State of the Nation address today, Thursday, February 27, since he assumed office for the second term. It is a highly anticipated address, expected to set the tone for his administration's professed ambitious reset in Ghana and Jeddah. It is aimed at reviving the economy, creating jobs, and restoring stability. With Ghana grappling with economic distress, rising inflation, and high unemployment, Mr. Mahama's address is expected to reassure citizens and outline clear solutions. The State of the Nation address is expected to touch on every sector of the economy, every sector of Ghanaian life. In fact, his 24-hour economic policy, which appears to be a cornerstone for his economic strategy, it is expected to take center stage as a game-changing initiative to drive industrial growth, boost productivity, and create sustainable employment. as we touch the economy, we touch education, transportation, energy, health, and all other aspects. Sports is also an area that a lot of people have interest in. And they expect the President, John Dramani Mahama, to outline his visions for the sporting industry. Mutala Muhammad is joining us from our sports department. Mutala, good to have you join us in the studio. Talk to us.
First of all, you got my name wrong again, which I'll pardon you for the 100th time. Today is so now, so I would leave that to the president to deal with you. It should be put into the rules so that if you mention someone's name wrongly again, then you have a lot to deal with. Maybe I'll leave that to Afenyo Marcus.
Mutala, no me whimsical and capricious.
Capricious,
Mutala,
So now, sports.
But before we talk about today's expectations, how prominent has sports been or featured in previous State of the Nation's address?
Well, it usually takes just a minute part of what is said, and you can blame the president or the government for that, because they draw their scale of preference, and clearly you can see that sports is not really up there.
I see.
So it takes, and it's because of how we've run the nation over, the last few years.
Okay.
We've not really made sports a business. We've not really seen the kind of, financial muscle that sports has, as compared to other countries in Europe where sports contributes a larger chunk of their GDP.
Yeah.
We don't see it that way. So
we don't see it because we have not looked for it or because it's not there.
We've deliberately or consciously not paid attention to it. We feel that other areas are more important. The health sector, the education, we prioritize that. And there's no wrong about that, because even in school we draw our scale of preference.
Right.
Even in our daily lives, you have certain things that you prioritize as against others. But what we in the sporting industry or the fraternity always call for is that at least give us at least, even if you have 10%, give us about 5% of the attention you give to other sectors, and sports will grow. In other places, it's business. It brings in a lot of money, but we've not really given it that much concentration. But what we usually hear from past presidents, I remember from the first era of John Dramani Mahama to Akufo-Addo, there's one constant thing that you find in there, and it has to do with infrastructure. And I expect the president to talk about infrastructure again, because Crosby, you remember 2024 was a bad year for Ghana. We were even hit with the highest peak of embarrassment when we were nearly sent to go and play our matches outside the shores of the country, because we couldn't even find a stadium. And this is a country that has won the Africa Cup of Nations on 4 occasions. You've gone to the World Cup 3 times out of 4, the last 4 editions. So we are seen up there. We've even got into the quarterfinals of the World Cup before. But to get to that stage where we had to, some diplomatic talks had to go on before CAF gave us a conditional approval to use one of our stadiums here, that is the Baba Yara Sports Stadium, for qualifiers, was not.
So for you, on top of the agenda would be sporting infrastructure.
Infrastructure has to be key. Our facility, we have so many astroturfs in Ghana. Under the Akufo-Addo administration, we have so many astroturfs, but they have their own challenges. Most of them are not up to standard. Some also have improvement that needs to be done in terms of fixing dressing rooms, in terms of floor lights and all that. Some of them, it looks like they didn't do a proper research before they put the facilities out there. Because where they are situated, it's deteriorating. Most of them have several issues that we need to deal with. For athletics, we still lack in a number of areas. I will say that because, yes, we have the facility that hosted the 13 African Games. And it was brilliant. For the first time ever, we're able to host about 13,000 athletes in this country and host the All-African Game. It was unprecedented. But we go back and talk about the same thing, maintenance culture. How are we going to maintain that facility? I mean, right after that facility was put up, after the tournament, we had media engagement with the then sports minister, Mustafa Yusuf. And the question that came from the media was just one. How are we going to manage this facility? Because there's been a lot of times where we've put up beautiful facilities. I mean, done a very nice inauguration and all that. But in the end, we leave the facilities to rot.
Right.
Crosby, if you see the state of the Esipon Stadium now, you won't recognize it. I bet you. You won't recognize the Esipon Stadium. This was a stadium that hosted the Africa Cup of Nations in just 2008.
Can 2008.
Can 2008. Yeah. Now it's been a habitat for rodents. The Sipon Stadium it can't even host a concert, not to talk about a football game. It can't host a Shatawale concert. It can't host a Stoneboy concert.
It can't be hosting Intako.
No. It can't host Intako. So if they want to do Intako right now in the Western region,
Sipon is out.
Sipon is out. They would have to go to maybe a different, go to Takwa and use the TNA Stadium for that. Or come to Cape Coast and use the Cape Coast Stadium. Because we've left it to rot.
Okay, so if you're talking about infrastructure, you mentioned our stadiums.
Yeah, stadiums.
So beyond the issue of stadiums, in terms of infrastructure, what else would you want to see?
I mean,
the sports development center,
the Winneba Sports College.
Right,
it needs to be revived. This was a college that produced some of the best in terms of our coaches, the likes of Usam Dudu and others.
Right.
In terms of footballers that we've had, a lot of footballers went through the Winneba Sports College, but we don't pay attention to the sports college anymore. We've just left it to be on its own. And when we inaugurated the facility for the 13th African Game, the minister then told us that after the tournament, it will be converted to a sports college. We've not heard anything from that. Yes, there's been a change of government, but we are hoping that let's put some of these facilities into use. Let's not wait for another 4 years, 5 years to go and bid for another tournament to ensure that we use the facilities. Let's put them to use. The Tamale Sports Stadium, for instance, Crosby, this was a stadium that was built and even in honor of Ghana's former vice president, Aliu Mahama. See the state of the Tamale Sports Stadium. They couldn't even get water to water the pitch. Just the pitch to treat the grass.
I see.
We didn't have that. So our maintenance culture also plays a part in that. And I expect President Mahama to address the issue of infrastructure. It will be one of the things I'm looking forward to.
Beyond infrastructure, Murtala, which other sporting areas or areas in the sports economy should the president incorporate in the State of the Nation?
It would be highly criminal for the president not to talk about the recent happenings in the Ghana Premier League.
I see.
The Nana Pole issue. It's given us a whole dimension about security. We thought we were all safe. We were pretending, we were all pretending that we were safe. Our stadiums were safe to host football games, but it wasn't. So I expect the president to touch on that, talk about security, because there's been a lot of meetings between the sports ministry and other stakeholders, even the Ghana Police Service. I expect the president to talk about some of the measures that have been put in place to ensure that we do not have such an occurrence. Once the matter entered Parliament the other day, I knew it was a very serious thing. Once he entered Parliament and the likes of Samir Uku had conversations about that, I knew it has gotten to the national stage. So I expect the president to talk about that, talk about security, how to improve security in our stadiums, how to ensure that our Ghana Premier League, as the #1 brand that we have in this country, would be, lifted to the standard that it deserves. Because in the NDC manifesto, if you check clearly, they talk about the fact that they need to invest in the Ghana Premier League. And elsewhere it happens. The Egyptian FA, the Egyptian government, they are one of the reasons why the Egyptian Premier League is up there. They invest heavily in the league to ensure that they will also have a way of selling players and getting remittance. It happens in South Africa. It happens in other areas.
So all of this is a broader conversation of, if you like, rebranding football, sports in this country, in Ghana. And so far, with the happenings around Ghanaian sports, and how it is dwindling or it has dwindled over the years, there's the need to revive the love.
Yeah.
Kento Kriku said, bring back the love.
Yeah.
We don't know how far that has gone or how effective.
It was coming back, but at a point it stalled. It stalled, and I mean, Kofi Adams has given us renewed hopes that they would work to ensure that they revive not just our football, but other areas like boxing, like athletics. For instance, today there's a super zonals happening in Kumasi and happening in Cape Coast as well. I mean, those were the places where we get the next generation of talent, but we've taken our eyes off them. We now want to wait for them to get to the university. I mean,
and it may be too late.
It may be too late because once they run one race and go to a championship, they just get scholarship to go to school in the US and other places, and they forget about us.
Okay, let's bring Michael Obodu. Michael, you also follow sports, and this is something which may not, entirely be in your core domain, but it is something we're bringing back the love for sports. Murtala has spoken about what he expects the president to say or to include in his first State of the Nation's address, particularly in the sporting arena. From where you sit as an ordinary Ghanaian who loves sports, who follows sports.
I bet Michael is not an ordinary. He's a citizen.
My brother, calm
down. He's a citizen.
Wanting to be a citizen, not a spectator in the sporting arena. What expectations do you have of the president, John Dramani Mahama, in sports?
And well, we do know that what he'll be presenting today is the State of the Nation's address. So more of a retrospect of how the country has fared over the last year, if we can say that, or since he took office, more or less. So this is his opportunity to present to us the country he was handed over to on January 7. So a lot of what we should be seeing here, I believe, will be things that have happened already. So what to expect, I believe that one will be reserved more for the budget, the budget reading and all of that. Then we can begin to see the trajectory that this government hopes to position itself. But of course, a lot has happened in the football space over the last couple of months that have caught attention. I'm sure, of course, he would help us understand where we've come as a country and the unfortunate setbacks that we've experienced, particularly with our football. I'm sure in there he would probably toss a few chips on what his government hopes to do going forward with the football. But it's quite sad and depressing to think about how much we have retrogressed, especially with our national football as a country. Some 10, 15 years ago, when you talk about football and Africa, Ghana is the next name or country that comes to mind. But this has we have become a sad shadow of ourselves. I remember that Ghana versus Germany in, was it 2012?
2014 World Cup.
That was, I believe that was the match of the entire cup.
You mean it
was voted the best game of the tournament.
Right.
Where we drew 2-2.
You get that? So that is a Ghana that we hope to see. So it will be nice to know what this new government hopes to do with football, how they plan to revolutionize it, how they hope to return us back to the limelight. So that'll be one key thing that I'll be hoping to see. And of course, from the business side of things, I'm also hoping that as a country, we begin to look at football from a commercial perspective rather than just the fun of it.
Sure.
And I think that over the period, we have not really looked at it with bullseye's target. Because think about it, if we have players that are that are being sold for $1 million, if we have about 100 of them, that is $100 million of revenue coming into the
Ghanaian economy.
Add 1,000 to it, and it's $1 billion coming into the country.
Crosby, I'm not badging Michael, but that is what the Brazilian government is doing. They know they can't compete with the rest of Europe. They know that they can't compete with the Premier League, the Serie A. So what they are doing is they invest heavily in the clubs. The clubs groom these players and sell them to European clubs. Neymar was sold for almost $40 million. They sell these players and get a lot of money. That is why Brazil is now the hub of talent. So they know they can't compete because they see football as business, and they know the kind of remittance football can bring to the country. But we don't see it as that.
Sadly.
We see it as some rich man be where he get money, where he tier team for here, a community team where they serve the community.
Mutala, in 2024, in President Akufo-Addo's penultimate State of the Nation address, that was on Tuesday.
Yeah.
He touched on several factors and sectors, emphasizing progress and addressing challenges.
Yeah.
He devoted a portion of his speech to discussing sports, if you like, making a notable shift as he addressed the necessary improvements while acknowledging the evident decline in certain facets of the sector, if not across board. So in the president's address, he openly acknowledged the decline in Ghanaian football, particularly the disappointing performance of the Black Stars at the 2023 AFCON. And then proposed a presidential policy on football that would focus on grassroots development and then talent scouting. How far have we gone with that?
Well, maybe we didn't even have time to, implement that. But the Ghana Football Association started something where they introduced, after they had a meeting with the ministry after this State of the Nation address by the president. Then they introduced the Ghana Football DNA. It was a philosophy to guide us because we know what every country does with their football. We know Germany they are very efficient. They are called the diamond shaft. We know Brazil plays samba football. Every country has their identity when it comes to football. We know Spain comes with the flair and all that. We know what other countries like Argentina bring, but we didn't have ours. We in the past said ours was agro ball. We just we just kept mentioning it's agro ball, but it wasn't put in some form of a document until that after that. So now where the GFA launched the Ghana Football DNA. And they said that now they would have to focus on imbibing or teaching our kids the tenets or the rudiments of our global so that they would grow with it. Now we don't even have a proper transition when it comes to our national team football.
From youth teams
to under 17,
teams,
under 20. We don't have that. Now you have an under 20 team that goes to one tournament in Chile and comes back, and you have all these players being spread across. Some go to Lavia, some go to Iraq. If you know the money, why would you go to Iraq to go and play football?
What football did they play there?
To go and play football. Why, Mike? If not for money. And these players go and we don't hear of them again. So we don't even monitor their progress. But in other countries, there is a proper transition. So I go back to the NDC manifesto. They said that the core problems that we have in football, there are other areas as well. There's boxing and all that. There's been a decline there, but football is almost like the passion of the nation. They've seen that our grassroots is weak. I mean, there was a time where I heard PE was even taken out of some of our curriculum or something like that. And those, I mean, it's not everybody that can do the 1+1. We must begin to accept that it's not everybody that can do the 1+1. There are people whose talent is just sports. And if we properly groom them, then we can also put our name on the map. I mean, football has put Ghana on the map more than the health sector, because when you talk about the health sector, there's nothing good to talk about there. But football at the 2010 World Cup, I mean, gave Ghana a huge lift. So
but even in 2006,
even when we went to our first World Cup, I don't like we're young then, but we saw the bus.
Michael was an old man.
Oh, Michael,
he was 30 years old.
Michael see much.
My friend would say, "It's you born me."
So I mean, the president would touch on our football, especially developmental phases, because we've let that to rot for a long time, and it's not good.
Mutala, beyond football, there's also the concern about the disparity in attention. So the other sports. We've spoken about how football has declined, athletics, boxing, the field, track and field events and all of that. How has their state been over the past couple of years?
You know, before we even go into that, because you mentioned the disparities, the women's national team just came to mind. And we've seen how amazing they've been over the last couple of years.
But they seem better now.
And they were the first to even go to the World Cup before the men. And funny enough, some of the biggest laurels we've won as a country came from other sports like boxing, the DQ Poisons, the Azuma Nelsons, the Mike Tyson. Those were the people that put Ghana on the map first. So it wasn't football. Those were the people. But I mean, we've taken our minds off them, and it is appalling to know that the budget of some of these least financed sports is not even up to 1 per diem of a Black Star player. Wow. Sometimes the whole budget of the fencing federation for the year is not even up to $10,000, but they are not giving. So all these people sit back and hear that you've made a budget of 10 million for an AFCON that is worth 8 million. Then they begin to, rethink that, okay, so you don't care about us. We want just $10,000 to go and participate in the competition. You feel it's not necessary.
I think that this is the issue of the budget. Sorry, I have to cut you. It's something that this particular government, I'm hoping, would do something drastic about. Because truth be told, if you are being called to the national team to play for the country, it's a patriotic opportunity you are being given, not an opportunity to cash out. It's quite surprising that sometimes our allocations for the world, for our players, is even higher than the US pays its players. You know that.
Yeah, I know.
And you see,
the reward of the tournament.
I tell you, and we need to get our acts right. We need to get things straight and set our priorities, because we can't be, in this case, throwing money into a leaking basket.
Honestly, technically, a country like Ghana shouldn't be budgeting more than the prize money of a tournament.
So that's a bad investment from the get-go. Because what at all
you can't budget 10 million for an $8 million tournament.
So you mean that you set out to lose?
Well, basically, what returns are you making? And that is why people will sit back and get agitated and not even wish the team well, because when they hear some of these things, someone will say that the monies can be invested in other areas, but it's sports. It can also bring us money, but you don't budget more than that. And look at the other areas. Now they are not called they are called least finance sports. They are not smaller federations again. They are called least finance sports because we've taken our eyes off them. The amputee team went to Egypt to win a tournament. They came back
in the the All African Games. They won the most. That
was arm wrestling. But the amputee team went to a tournament in Egypt, won the amputee AFCON championship. They were not given their per diems. They came back. Someone decided to give them $10,000 as a gift, and that even caused another case. Because why the minister was angry that when you got to Ghana, you should have visited me first, and why did you go to someone else? Because it was a political reason.
Anyways, Jesper, let's listen to Nilante van der Poy. He has been a sports minister before, and this is President Akufo-Addo's last State of the Nation's address. He interacted with my colleague Eric Mawena Egbeta. Take a listen.
Let's speak to another outgoing member of parliament for the Ododo constituency. Honorable, I appreciate that you could speak to us. You're a sportsman, so perhaps I want to pick it from the sports angle. You heard the president in terms of his final State of the Nation address. When it comes to issues of sports, were you satisfied with the mentioning of achievements under his administration and the state in which he's leaving them?
Well, I didn't hear him doing any analysis of his administration's contribution to sports development and promotion. The little I heard didn't convince me that the people who wrote his speech had any great analysis of the sporting sector. So definitely we'll have an opportunity to debate on Monday. I'm hoping that we'll be able to get the opportunity to touch on the issue of sports development under his governance over the 8 years. You and I will agree that sports is one area that this government has really performed poorly, abysmally, and has virtually brought a lot of shame and embarrassment to us as a country. For the first time in our history, in 14 years, we failed to qualify for the Cup of Nations. We failed to qualify for even CHAN, the Continental Championship. Possibly, let's pray to God Almighty that with the coming of John Mahama's administration and the favor of God, we'll be able to qualify for the World Cup. But if you consider that under the NDC government of Professor Mills and John Mahama, we had the opportunity of going to the World Cup twice. You understand, in 2010 and 2014. So it's just a worry, but I'm hoping that Ghanaians themselves have been good judges of his administration, and hence announce the verdict on December 7th.
Just quickly, you're bowing out of Parliament. It's a question I asked to all of the members who are bowing out. The expectation of the 9th Parliament, and whether or not you'll be vouching as well for Speaker Badman to be retained.
Oh, I have no doubt in my mind that Speaker Badman will be retained. Even though I'm bowing out, I'll be here to lobby for him, to also convince my people who are coming in the 9th Parliament why he should be retained. Secondly, let me say, I'm leaving the house not with any regrets, but with a lot of knowledge and experience. I've been able to improve upon my knowledge base as far as
Nilante Vanderpoy there. Mutala Yakubu. He's still here with me. Mutala, you heard from the former sports minister. We've spoken about what to expect in the State of the Nation's address, the first of President John Dramani Mahama. Looking at the nature of sports in Ghana, we need a lot of money. Where do we get the money from?
That is where sports funding comes in. And that is where I was extremely disappointed that the appointment committee of Parliament, when they were vetting Kofi Adams, didn't ask about where he's going to get funding from, because that has been one of the major challenges we have. Apart from the Black Stars, we've always had challenges when it comes to money, except that the Black Stars are going to play a tournament. That one, there's no issue about money, because if you look at our structure for our national teams, even apart from the Black Stars coach who is paid by the government, the other coaches are sorted out by the GFA, and they don't even receive anything. They've called for, they've spoken about this several times, that they should be at least giving some form of remuneration. The GFA pays the Black Queens coach, and that is not good enough. So sports funding is very key. How do you get sports funding? Try and bring investors on board. If we have investors on board, that is what the English FA have done over the years. You remember it used to be the Barclays Premier League. For years, Barclays were the one sponsoring the English. True. Bring investors on board. Once you bring investors on board, they can, take some of the financial burden off your shoulder. So let's hope that something good would come out of this government.
Mutala, thank you so much for joining us.
The best in the morning.
Fado will fulfill the constitutional requirements. Appear before. I was checking your temperature. Your temperature. Now I have your attention.
Correct.
Yes. President John Dramani Mahama will be addressing Parliament today.
But I like how Nanado says his name.
Oh, Charlie, please, I beg you. I didn't come to work.
He's a big man.
I didn't come to work today. Let me stay at home. I beg you. Let's go back to 2024, where the President of the Republic, at the time, just to refresh our minds, because the expectations of Ghanaians are high. People are looking at the cost of living conversation. People are looking at the price of fuel. People are looking at the domestic debt exchange program. People are looking at the bread and butter issues, really. People are looking at the agri sector, how much we are feeding ourselves. And I get shocked every time somebody tells me that we are not eating enough protein. I say, have you been to Ogo Road to see the pork that people are eating?
You understand?
Yeah, you know. They say we are not eating enough. I say, Chairman, have you been to a restaurant to see akukosre people are chewing? You say we are not eating enough protein. Well, but that's what the scientists say. That's what the agri people say. Because if you look at the consumption rates, they think that we are not consuming enough, and then we are not growing enough, or if you like, producing enough to feed ourselves. We are all focused on importing, and high on our import agenda is rice, oil, sugar, and then chicken. These four take away a lot of our money. If we're able to get a system where we're able to grow them here and produce a lot more, I'm sure we'll be fine. Let's cast our mind back to 2024. The President of the Republic, this was in 2025.
It's final one.
This was in 2024. We'll come to the 2025 one, which is the final, which is the bye-bye one.
The bye-bye one.
Yeah, but this one.
The Ghanaians who miss you one.
The Egyptians you see.
The one that Auntie Becky was angry, no?
This is our new lands minister. Yeah, he says he's going to take care of himself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Beyond us to resolve the problems that come up and concentrate on working to build the happy and prosperous country we want. Government on its part will do what is expected of it to make sure that the reputation of Ghana is not damaged and the free will of the people is manifested at the end of the electoral process. And I want to reassure the people of Ghana that I'll do everything in my power to help ensure the conduct of transparent, free, and fair elections on 7th December. I have confidence in the security services to ensure that those who might want to cause havoc or any kind of mischief to disrupt the electoral process will have no room to operate.
3FM 92.7 Urban Lifestyle Radio Station.
We did not like, but we knew we had to take in the knowledge that the medicine will be bitter but temporary. Mr. Speaker, a year ago, I also stated the decision to undertake a comprehensive debt restructuring of our domestic and external debt to ensure we remain resolute in our objective to restore macroeconomic stability and sustainable growth. The decision was not an easy one, considering the complex and diverse domestic debt landscape. We had to consider safeguarding the financial sector, preserving social and economic conditions, and protecting our domestic debt market. A year on, I'm happy to inform you, Mr. Speaker, that we have made significant progress. We requested an unprecedented number of bondholders to participate in a voluntary exchange, and we were able to exchange successfully some 203 billion cedis worth of bonds. Not only was the exchange successful, but it helped us to secure within 5 months the shortest possible time in recent debt restructuring history, a staff-level agreement to an executive board agreement with the IMF. My gratitude goes to all financial sector players, organized labor, firms, regulatory institutions, and all individuals who made this painful exercise successful.
3FM 92.7, Urban Lifestyle Radio Station.
The president is apologizing to you. What do you say, Obodu?
You keep saying the president.
Yeah, the former president. But
okay, well, once the president was the president, we should go with that.
We're going with the American system.
Okay, that's fine.
So he says he's sorry. He knows it would be a bitter pill, but the way the thing happened, it had to happen. It's domestic testing program. What one else is there?
Abanaba.
You people, if you want to do mischief,
I shocked her.
If you want to sound whimsical and capricious, then your voice goes down.
No, but
have we asked anybody to dance here? Have we? Huh?
We don't know Akpi dance. We are now trying to find it. Let's come back to 2025. Canado's very last State of the Nation address.
As some propagandists want us to believe, we're handing over the country with gross international reserves of almost $8 billion United States dollars. This is more than the $6.2 billion United States dollars of gross international reserves my administration inherited in 2017. Economic growth. The noise will not shut out the statistics. And I intend to put the statistics on the record of Hansa, no matter the amount of noise. Mr. Speaker, economic growth.
Honorable members, the level of interruption is high. Please, honorable members.
On 3FM, the best in the morning.
His Excellency the President is not out of order. Please. Honorable members, your statistics might be different from his, but that doesn't mean he's misleading the House. He is in order. Please, Your Excellency, continue.
The statistics cannot be different. There's only one set of statistics that there is. It cannot be different. Truth is indivisible. Truth is indivisible. There's one and one only.
Your Excellency,
thank you very much.
As an accomplished member of Parliament, you are out of order.
Mr. Speaker, economic growth has also returned to the pre-COVID trajectory with an impressive growth rate, rising from 4.8% in the first quarter of 2024, 7% in the second quarter, and 7.2% in the third quarter. It is projected that this year's growth rate will be 6.3%, significantly higher than the 3.4% my administration inherited in 2017. The growth of the economy is further reflected in the growth of private sector credit. Private sector credit in nominal terms grew by 28.87% in October 2024, compared to the negative 7.5% growth recorded in the same comparative period of 2023. In real terms, growth in credit to the private sector improved to 5.5% compared to a contraction of 31.6% recorded in October 2023.
Like that. I don't like that.
The way that thing will be like, we have to issue a disclaimer. We know nothing about the song play.
We don't like Kofi Kinata anymore.
We are not among. We are not among.
We don't like Kofi
We are
Kinata.
not among of this.
Anyway, see, this State of the Nation address is simple. The former president and the current president, one of them will be lying. It's simple. One of them is either must have lied or will lie. We're going to talk about same situation, different numbers. How is 1 + 1 in the morning 2? And then the next day 1 + 1 is 3. One of them will
his story, their story.
But we heard the former president say emphatically that he's handing over a country that is not broke. And it's interesting that same economy or country is the one that the current president says is a crime scene.
One of them will lie.
Now, let's listen to the deputy majority leader at the time who gave the vote of thanks. The vote of thanks in Parliament. Listen to the gentleman.
We have come to the end of the road for what has been undoubtedly the worst government under the Fourth Republic. Honourable Speaker, this abysmal record was confirmed on December 7th when the people of Ghana returned the most overwhelming and emphatic vote of rejection of any government ever witnessed under the Fourth Republic. Mr. President, you will be remembered as the first president who was cushioned by the IMF when you began, and you are still being cushioned at the end of your term. Mr. President, you left something very important in your account. You left out an account of your promise to God to build him a cathedral. But Mr. President, I will leave that for you, between you and your God. Mr. President, let me remind His Excellency, Honourable Speaker, that his tenure in office will remain a timely reminder of how not to govern the country. But let me also be quick to assure the good people of Ghana that hope is on its way. And President John Dramani Mahama and the NDC, we can once again glean a brighter future from the throes of despair. Together we will work hard to lift ourselves from this historic low and reclaim our place, our glory as the Black Star of Africa. Once again, fellow Ghanaians, we are comforted and strengthened by the following words of Scripture. And I'm quoting Exodus chapter 14, verse 13. And I quote, "And Moses said unto the people, Fear you not, stand still, and see the salvation of the Lord, which he will show you today. For the Egyptians whom you have seen today, you shall see them no more." Bye-bye, Mr. President. It It is finished. With that, Mr. Speaker, I thank you very much. Moses said unto the people, fear you not, stand still and see the salvation of the Lord, which he will show you today. For the Egyptians whom you have seen today, you shall see them no more. Bye-bye, Mr. President. It is finished. With that, Mr. Speaker, I thank you very much.
Concerned about the fact that
don't give small money chance.
No. So whichever it will collect the COVID money.
If you are not going to stop here, once you have passed there,
we'll charge you.
We'll show you something.
It'll be smart. So he raised concerns about that, the fact that it was making Ghana unattractive as compared to other neighboring ports. So he called on the transport minister to take a second look at that. But back to 2023. So
right.
You know the DDEP had just been completed, and then we achieved 85% participation with 83 billion Ghana cedis worth of board tendered in out of the 97.7. So it means that we had just about 14 billion that didn't partake in the whole process. And I'm sure you heard the former president in his final speech also rehashed that and spoke about how emphatic the participation was. And, you know, another key thing beyond the DDEP around that time was the issue of fuel prices.
Correct.
That was the first time in the history of this country that we were buying fuel
20 cities per liter.
23 even for diesel.
Yeah, 23
around just about that time.
Per liter.
Per liter, yeah. The price of fuel. Those were the days that.
We will listen to your story.
Those were the days that the CD can be 15 CDs today and then can be 16 tomorrow, and it was a whole
volatile situation,
roller coaster. And you see, I interacted with industry players at that time, and it was not an exciting period to be a manager of a business.
Because you know, if you had $1,000 today, tomorrow it will no longer be $1,000. Just today, between today and tomorrow.
I remember around that time I changed $100 and I had about 1,200, 1,400. The next week, $50 became almost
That much.
That much. I was shocked.
You know, a friend of mine who does a lot of imports, he went to the bank for them to give him LC, letters of credit. So they gave him the rates, he agreed and everything else. He went early in the morning. By close of business, when he was nearing the bank and he told the guy, Charlie, I come for the thing, I go get the dollar. I said, oh, no. The rates are changed. So he, out of frustration, he said, look, I will even import the thing. Let them keep their thing.
Johnny, around this time, the fuel prices thing. Now, I had some small car somewhere that I was driving small. The car had a problem. So he went to a mechanic shop. And when the car was at the mechanic shop, Monday morning, fuel price would jump from 13 to 14, Tuesday 14 to 16, Wednesday 16 to 17. The fuel prices were jumping. So I forgot.
You forgot that. You joined public transport.
It's serious. And you see, the bigger picture is how this affects the pockets of the average Ghanaian.
So let's put this in perspective. The 20 cedis and the 23.7 cedis that we see, that was how high it jumped
for petrol.
We came down. Yes, we came down to 13.8.
Yeah,
right?
13.8 average.
Right, but then let's remember that this 13.8 even at the time was not what Nana inherited.
Oh no.
Right.
No.
There's a freshly minted member of Parliament, Okaikwe South. He's speaking to Mawe Negbeta in Parliament. That's Ernest Adumako. Let's listen to him.
Okaikwe South, to be specific, and what happened. Talk to us about that. How you unseated an incumbent MP and then a minister as well. What did the man tell you?
For the past 28 years, I think 2024 was the first time NDC is winning Okaikwe South. NDC and Ernest Adumako proved to the people that we are ready to serve them. We are ready to work. And then we started doing what we are coming to do in 2025. So the people got the understanding that the area is really not developing, and we are ready to develop the area. That is why they voted massively for Ernest Adumako. So thank you very much.
All right, thank you. He's a man of very little words, but speaking to us really. And so we're also seeing a lot of members of Parliament come through. I've seen the gender minister from where I am at. We'll try and, if possible, be able to skate quickly to that part of the public gallery and get a sense.
We'll come back to Marina in a bit. So, Michael, let's get back to the fuel conversation.
Yeah, so we are looking at fuel prices now.
At the time, now, presently, it's about just
around 15 depending on where you get it from, about 15.
Which is still quite on the high side, if you ask me.
Very true, which is quite on the high side.
Because, look, fuel affects everything. I mean, transports, yes, and those who cart goods from the hinterlands to the city centers, they will slap the charges that they pick off the fuel prices onto you. I mean, you eventually, the last person who consumes the product or service will pay.
True.
Will pay for it. And I think that we need to properly look at it again. I certainly don't understand. Maybe you can explain to me why we're a net exporter of fuel. And then when the global prices go up, we are told about it. But when the global prices go up, we are also net exporting our fuel, which means that we'll have a certain windfall. Where does that windfall go?
So that's an interesting question, and it's also part of the reason why I'm excited that TOR had a technocrat for an MD, Dr. Isif Sulemana.
Right.
You know, he has been one key advocate for the revamping of TOR if we want to be able to ensure fuel security and also to some extent reduce the cost of fuel on the market. He also was very emphatic on the fact that we have to streamline.
I have to cut you and go back to Parliament. Agnes Namomolati, Agenda Minister, is speaking to Mawena.
That he will do, and clearly you can attest to that. He has done it. He promised 60 ministers. He has delivered on that. He also spoke about the ORA. He set up that committee. He spoke about taking away the taxes on the betting and also the e-levy. I'm sure when they exile it has captured, it's already captured in the budget. So all that he's done very well. So today we're expecting good things. He will actually deliver, tell us the true state of the nation to the Ghanaians, because that's what Ghanaians are expecting.
Thank you very much, and I'll leave you to catch your breath as well. That's Dr. Asafo Toffee. She is the Member of Parliament for the Jomoro constituency. I've seen Roxy Nelson Dapiamepo, who's the Chief Whip of the majority. Let's quickly try and get reactions right now with respect to
understand me, I'm doing my work, please keep yourself on.
all right, of the State of the Nation address, but doesn't look like we can go too far. But really, in terms of expectations today, you've had at least the two majority MPs who've spoken to us thus far state emphatically that they expect the president today to deliver the true state of the nation's address, and so we will be expecting the president to speak on matters in relation to the economy, which will be frontal. Already, we've had the president speak on different platforms. When he met organized labor, mentioned and stressed that the economy had been criminally mishandled, and so it will be one thing that will feature greatly today with respect to what we will be expecting from the president when he does deliver that State of the Nation address. Also, other areas which will be of interest. You had Dr. Asafo Toffee speak to matters of corruption and the work of oral. That will come up strongly as well, is the expectation we're hearing today. And generally, a sense of where he's seeking to take the country as well, because there's been a promise of a reset of the Ghanaian economy and then the country in general. The expectation, at least from a lot of the individuals who've been speaking to us as well, is that they will get a sense of what really the president will seek to do with respect to where he wants to take the country. But let's speak to the Honorable Nyamike Aka. He's the Blair Ama. He's a Member of Parliament for Sekunde. I like to mention it right, and that's got him excited. Honorable Blair, talk to us. You're a first timer as well. Talk to us about the feel walking into the House today, experiencing the State of the Nation address. This time, not from outside, but as a Member of Parliament.
Well, it's very, very. Let me greet all the listeners, the viewers of TV3 all over Ghana, and then my viewers and my constituents in Secondary. Greet.
The best in the morning.
I would like to thank them very much for giving me the opportunity to come and serve them. Going back to your question, it's very, very, very beautiful. If you look at how the environment is, the atmosphere is, it's very, very, very beautiful. Very beautiful.
We're expecting the president to say a lot. A number of your colleagues we've spoken to already have mentioned they want to the true state of the nation. What would you be expecting to hear from the president today?
Yes, thank you very much. I would like to hear the true state of the nation. What is not there that they said is. You understand? So you should give us a true perception of how things are in the country, so that the citizens will be prepared, for whatever is coming.
And on the way forward, there are those who are criticizing your government already for the dismissals and all of that. We're getting indication that there might be...
Sunrise on 3FM.
Your critics and some of these arguments they've been raising, particularly the minority who've been raising that on the floor strongly.
Oh, for me, I believe that what is good for the geese is good for the gander. So whatever they did has to happen, because there is no money. The government should be allowed to audit the state of the economy, and then know that he would be able to and pay the salaries of the people that were employed. Moreover, those that were employed were on probation. And on probation, they had liberty to be laid off. But at the end of the day, the issue is about money and the economy. If the money is not there, why do you keep them in? If they're not going to get paid for about 1 year, 2 years, man, that's no good. You'd rather get rid of them and then let them understand that there isn't money. But what I'm saying is, it was done in 2017. Why can't we do it here?
You think it should be done? Once it was done in 2017, can be done now.
Done logically. Like I said, once it's done logically, in terms of the money available, if there's no money, why do you keep them in? And we're all crying that the state of the economy is not good. And we need to reset. The government needs to reset that economy. So how is he going to reset with burdens? The burdens need to be gotten rid of. You know what I'm trying to say.
Honorable, thank you. That's the Member of Parliament for Sekunde.
But always think about my Sekunde for me.
Yes, I wanted to ask a specific question in relation to that. What should the people of Sekunde be looking forward to hear from the President today as he delivers his address?
Sekunde is very much concerned about our market. Our market is in a deplorable state, very, very dilapidated. You know, the market itself is not fit for purpose. So we should hear something from our market and the creation of jobs, job opportunities for the youth in Sekunde.
Thank you very much. That's the Honorable Blair Ama. Let's try and speak to briefly the Education Minister. Honorable, thank you very much for joining us. You're live here on TV3. A big day today. What can we expect from the President in delivering the State of the Nation address?
President Mahama will have to behave like a woman during childbirth to lay it all bare. The state of the sinkhole economy is inheriting. The primary responsibility of every president is the safety and security of its citizens. That President Mahama will guarantee for the people of Ghana. But the state of the economy is in dire state. Even to say that it's in comatose will be an understatement. The tax ahead is, as we predicted rightly, is Herculean. So he would have to do everything possible to reboot the economy. But to reboot it, the Ghanaian people must understand clearly the nature and extent of the debt. Akufo-Addo was here once upon a time as president to tell us that 120 billion was colossal. Today it's 745 billion. What word do you have for it? And then everything in Ghana is in disarray. Economic management, governance, everything. And then
just one more. That's the Education Minister who's just made his way away from us. I'll try and speak to the Bongo Member of Parliament as well, Bawadia, on his expectations in relation to today, even as the Gender Minister and the Education Minister continue in that chit-chat. We heard from the Education Minister there's a lot more that you in the majority are expecting to hear. You're expecting the President to lay it all out as much as possible today?
Yes, we expect the President to give us so much information. That's because, after the elections, the President has stated clearly that, the economy was in serious troubles and that it had even reached criminal levels. So I expect the President to give us much more information as to the nature of the destruction that has happened. And more importantly, how His Excellency the President intends to navigate through the system to bring back the economy to a healthy state. I think that the people of Ghana did not vote for us to complain about the destruction of the economy that the MPP had done, but also to
Sunrise on 3FM.
On the Lord to make sure that the economy is back on track so that together we can enjoy as a country. So President to put in place some strategies to give us some clue as to how he intends to proceed. Clearly, the details of what ought to be done by government will be contained partly in the budget that will be read subsequently. But, today's exercise will give us some indication as the intentions of the government moving forward.
Honorable Bauer, thank you. Let me try and quickly get the gender minister as well. The Honorable Mumu Lati, just briefly with respect to what we can expect today. Honorable, thank you very much for speaking to us here on TV3. You are the Minister for Gender, so maybe I want to start from that angle as to the state of the nation from since you assumed office as a gender minister. What can you tell Ghanaians, even as we expect to hear from the president today?
Thank you very much. Today is the first SONA for His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. We are expecting to know the true state of affairs of the nation, because from the votes he had, there's every indication that Ghanaians are to support him to ensure that he delivers on his mandate. And then it's not just about him indicating to us that this is the true state of affairs, but most importantly, the hope he brings to Ghanaians. Within this 1 month or so, we've seen that he's a man of his words. He's tried his best to, walk the talk. And it is not just about saying, I want to do this, I want to do that, but actually doing them. Today, as he presents, for my sector in particular, the
Sunrise on 3FM, the best in the morning. 3FM 92.7.
For instance, the debt that is bedeviled the school feeding program. I want him to speak to it, not just that, but the hope he brings, because he promised in the manifesto that he's going to decentralize school feeding and then also improve the quality. If it's anything to go by, you will realize that for the SHS, the quality of feeding has improved. And so we expect that this thing, and then what is to bring on.
The best in the morning.
We are
is on 92.7.
Give him the maximum support and do all the sacrifices that need to be done for Ghanaians to also be happy that they gave him this maximum support and vote. So I'm sure that at the end of the day, it will increase our support for His Excellency.
Just quickly on the school feeding, which you mentioned, and the debt which has bedeviled it, can you seek to help us understand how, I don't want to use the word bad, but really what the real situation is? Have to be looking at and taken to begin to find a solution, because that was a concern, then it looks like it's creeping.
One thing I can tell you, I don't want to preempt.
Sunrise on 3FM, the best in the morning.
We have a legacy debt which has to be taken care of. I've spoken to the Minister of Finance and I know that there are measures in place for us to clear.
Sunrise on 3FM, the best in the morning. The best in the morning is on 92.7.
But also making sure that
on 3FM.
Okay.
That was Eric Mawinek better there in the House of Parliament with Agnes Momolate. She is the Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection. Before that was Haruna Idrisu, Minister for Education. Before that was Ernest Adomako Kion, and then also the MP for Sekunde constituency. Nyameke. Let's go to Parliament. Cast our minds back to about a month ago when the President Akufo-Addo delivered his final State of the Nation address to the good people of the Republic of Ghana. The minority leader, in fact the majority leader at the time, now minority leader, had this to say in response to what was said.
Of his great work in the chamber of this house. Then, as students, we sat at the gallery to observe and to take inspiration from him. Mr. Speaker, through resilience, through firmness of conviction, he tried over and over again and made it to the presidency. Mr. Speaker, today he has fulfilled a constitutional obligation to boldly deliver for Hansa his records in office for the 8 years. Mr. Speaker, it may be that for some political expedients, we may not appreciate what he has done for this country. But, Mr. Speaker, history, in its fair judgment, will state that there came an Akufo-Addo whose record in the educational sector of our country was unmatched and unequaled. Mr. Speaker, this is a man who is never afraid of challenges that confront him.
Honorable members, please, silence. Let's listen to the majority leader. Please.
Mr. Speaker, he has given us data, which data tells us the record he came to meet and the record he's leaving us with. Mr. Speaker, the Agenda 111, a very ambitious policy to revive our health sector and to provide for the needs, the health needs of the many vulnerable communities, Mr. Speaker, which is also unmatched, is there for all of us to see. Mr. Speaker, above all, this president and his government have demonstrated that they have what it takes to keep our country safe all around us. And by virtue of my being a member of the ECOWAS Parliament, I am able to say on authority the challenges our West African neighbors face in terms of security. This country is safe and secure, and it is a haven for many West Africans who would want to invest in our country. This is a country we must be proud of. Mr. President, your country is proud of you. Democracy has experienced its best under your leadership. Today, we are being told that there's a new hope. That's no problem. It is supposed to be so. But soon, we will see the true colors of the umbrella. So, Mr. Speaker, I would want to say to my colleagues that you are yet to take over. We would be watching you
Sunrise on 3FM
for the next 4 years.
In the morning.
And if indeed you have transformed, we will see with our naked eyes. This is a government that came into office and faced major challenge which confronted the world all over, but demonstrated resilience. This is a government that ensured that in spite of the COVID, all government sector workers were paid. This is a government that kept the lights on. This is a government that ensured that over 5.7 million Ghanaians had access to education. And Mr. Speaker, I would want to relate to this issue of free SHS. It took the grace of God for me to complete secondary education because my mom could not afford, my stepdad could not afford. It took the grace of God. And I know there were many Ghanaians who could not afford free SHS and because could not afford secondary education and had to stay at home. We know in our communities today, all those who could not get free SHS, benefited from it when Akufo-Addo assumed office. Mr. Speaker, TVET was also implemented for those who are placed at the lowest ebb of fortune's wheel to also get advantage of getting technical education. This is it. This is the record that Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo is leaving us with. Mr. Speaker, prosperity will be the utmost judge. And I repeat, soon and very soon, the Ghanaian people will see the true colors of this umbrella. I rest my case. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The best in the morning is on 92.7 Sunrise on 3FM.
That was the voice of the minority leader, then majority leader, Alexander Kwamna Afenyo-Marking, MP for the Futu constituency in the Central Region. Some 47 minutes after 9 here on Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. We're in Parliament to bring you the sights and sounds, every movement, every muscle movement, every step, every voice that will be echoing through the chamber of Parliament. We'll make sure that you get a chance to hear and to know, to keep you updated on what will be said today. The President of the Republic, John Dramani Mahama, will fulfill the constitutional requirement today. What are your expectations? Tell us under the stream, 3FM 927. We're live on Facebook and the hashtag is 3FM Sunrise. Joseph Paddy, the National Communications Director of the Ghana Union of Traders Association, Samsi Sakia Wengobet, is with the Importers and Exporters Associations, the Chief Laborer there. And they have joined me in studio. Gentlemen, good morning. Thank you very much for your time.
Good morning.
Great.
And happy New Year to you.
Many happy returns.
Good morning to your listeners and viewers on online.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
This year, this is the first time we are meeting.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Yeah. Let's begin the conversation this way. I know that you have expectations. For example, Kuta has made their pointers very clear in a press release that they put out there. But what is yours, Saki? What demands or what expectations do you have of the SONA this year?
Thank you very much, Johnny. It's good to always be here. Where is your sister? Your partner.
She's on TV.
She's on TV, right? Okay. I greet all your listeners and viewers worldwide and country-wide as well. My colleague here, good PRO.
Right.
It's always good to partner with him on media like this to discuss national issues. I would say that where I sit as the Executive Secretary for Importers and Exporters Association of Ghana, indeed we expect a lot from this new government. And of course, the President of the Republic of Ghana currently, when he was the presidential candidate, came to port to meet the maritime trade. In engaging us, we told him what was expected from us,
right,
and what we were also expecting him to do. We didn't use the word if, we said when he becomes the president. So we were confident that
he was going to be
the president of the Republic of Ghana. Indeed, I told him point blank that where we sit, we look at the business community, the mood of the business community. The previous government, 8 years, was a waste of time to business community. Yes, it was complete waste, complete disaster. And
why do you say that?
I'll tell you why I say that. You know, the slogan was that they were business friendly in 2016.
That's right.
And so we were with them, business community were with them.
Right.
That changed the government, John Mahama government, to Akufo-Addo government.
You seem to have regrets.
Yes. So their first maiden budget, I applaud them because they told that they were going to abolish nuisance taxes.
That's their simple budget.
That's a simple budget. And when they came, the maiden budget, they abolished the 1% special import levy. They abolished the VAT on the financial taxes, you remember?
Right. Right.
Then they said they abolished our brothers and sisters Abusoka and spare parts import. It was laudable. Little did we know that it was a scam. 7 months down the lane, in July when they came to do the the media budget review. I and my brother sitting here. We nearly exchanged blows in Parliament.
Hey, why?
Yes, because I accused them that they went behind us to deceive the government that 3%, they should do 3% flat rate, which should cover imports, wholesalers, and distributors. I said no. That wasn't what we agreed. I remember vividly. When the last day that before the election, they brought President Akufo-Addo, the then candidate in 2016, to Gutta House, Ghana House there. I was there, and we said when he comes, Setekwe move business group to 70.5% standardization tax. And so those who bojo for them, I don't know how to put it in tree.
Tabletop or petty traders.
Exactly.
The informal.
So they cannot do input and output. But someone like this man, his business, someone like the good president business, he should be able to afford to employ a qualified accountant because the volume is moving.
Right.
So when you pay duty at the port, you pay import VAT. When he's selling as sales, he should be able to do input and output. The output is bigger than the input you pay. So you deduct what belongs to government, and the difference should remain between 2 to 3%. That should be for the business owner. Yet you said no, you are doing a 3% flat rate. You are including everybody. I said no. Then, when I did all my investigations, I had good time said that, because most of the time, that time when we do input and output, the multinationals or the bigger companies that come, not even there was Ghanaian companies that were moving hippopotamus and others, they were bigger companies. Franco Park and other things, they were bigger companies that moved volume. So their input alone sometimes give them credit that they can bring goods instead of them to claim. They can use that to do what? To clear their cargo. So good time raised issue. That no. They say, okay, no problem. So this 3%, what it means was that one company that is doing sales and servicing, at the end of the day will have to present 2 books. So before, I think less than 2 to 3 I saw that my people realized that no, it was eating into their businesses. It was eating into their capital.
But it was too late.
So they said when you put poppy on the left, so the advice started to feel, then they started their arms. Then, coming to implementation of the spare parts, which they said it was scrap. Is that not it?
Right.
They said, Obasanjo people should now come. Which one was scrap? Spare parts, or which is not spare parts? So if you are driving the Okada man, knock off your mirror, you go to Obasanjo, they will not tell you as they are not paying duty for mirror. You are buying car battery. They said it's not. So what is spare parts? Then they turn around to say, Ghanaian turn around, the same government turn around to say, we have scrap, we have abolished Abusoka. Yet if you go to Abusoka, spare parts was what? Was costly. And I said, no. At implementation level, you called them.
Right.
You did not sit with them before you agree, okay, what are we abolishing? So that you go and announce the specific thing that you've abolished.
Right.
Not that you said you put it in vague. Then at implementation level, it is different thing. That was why Ghanaian Consumer were not up and that even though they've given these people tax holidays, yet they didn't see anything later.
That's right.
Then we went to, people started taking their goods to neighboring countries. Then we raised issues. Gutta was said, they went for it. Hallelujah, they went for it. The Benjamin values.
Yeah.
And I said the Benjamin values was unlawful.
Why was it unlawful?
Yes. You are a senior journalist in this country.
Nice. But you tell me why you say it was
so anything that is lawful, Vice President and Economic Management team cannot take authority to announce that we are giving you this.
That's right.
They would have gone to Parliament.
That's right.
Because every component of tax that is being collected.
That's correct. That's right.
So what they did was that they were smart. And I raised issue that if I present under the WTO, World Trade Organization, if I present my tax invoice to you, and I said the value is $100,000 I bought the commodity,
right?
You're supposed to assess me based on the invoice value that I give to you.
That's right.
But custom will throw it away and say they have a website somewhere they check prices. So instead of assessing me duty on $100,000, they will go and assess you duty on maybe $150,000 or $200,000. Then tell you, we are giving you benchmark value of discount of 50%. Then they then now assess. So what they actually now assess was our actual values that business community were present to them.
Okay.
Then our friends from AGI came in, said, no. Because of this, they are causing injuries in their businesses. And because of that, there's dumping. So government should not agree. Then when they went to consumers, they say, oh, even these people, they've given them benchmark values. Yet prices have not done what? Reduced. Forgotten that the exchange rate was rocket sky. Inflation was running. Borrowing from banks, prime rate was up. And things was bazaar, like I said in Parliament, in what do you call it, in the last time. So, my brother, 8 years down the lane of the previous government,
right?
My friends cried within them, and they cannot cry because I was crying out. I was very vociferous.
So they were crying with him.
And the worst scenario was when there was this demonstration in Kumasi, sat down 3 days, remember?
Yes.
It took Asantehema, our grandmother, to plead with the Gupta people in Kumasi, what do you call it? The Odum and others, that they should open because people have come from hinterland. They didn't know that there was this strike. Then Gupta Accra also joined. Then the Oman said, hey, Mumbra. And they went to meet him. When they were going, because they know that me, I wear a big mouth. They didn't take me along. These people, we see them sitting here. They are my friends, we are brothers. But
inside, they like to put you in a corner.
I don't want to say they are demons, but they are more than demons.
I see. The demands that you have only told me, chronicled what you think went wrong.
Yes.
I'll come to Mr. Paddy.
Yes.
Pardon me. Yes. But let's look at what it is that you are demanding. Because Gupta is very clear on what they want. So tell me,
I'm building on something.
We don't have all day.
Okay, you don't have all day.
So I allow your brother to also
talk. So when I saw their demand yesterday, I laughed. I said, okay, it's good. Good presentation. What the Gupta president put out there, very good presentation. But you and I asked me, the past 8 years government, have you ever seen Gupta put something of that nature out? What we normally do, the practice we normally do was that we will go and meet the Minister of Finance, or they will go engage the Minister of Finance. When the Minister of Finance come to Parliament and do not present what they went and sat and agree, then you then see them flying. I hope you are getting it. But this, I don't want to say it's a threat or it's a warning, but it is something that they mean. It's good. President Mahama came to have said that when he come, he is going to cut down expenditure. First thing, President Mahama has reduced his number of ministers. That's a savings to the country. President Mahama told that he will abolish e-levy 160 days. And I know when the Minister of Finance come, they will abolish e-levy. We are
130 days.
130, good. Yeah. President Mahama said, COVID levy, he will abolish it. And we are important as well.
How does that answer the predicament of your business?
Okay,
how does that solve
it? There will be savings for business community.
Okay.
Because there are some business community gone are the days that if your duty is about 3 million Ghanaians or 1 million Ghanaians, you must carry the money. Fiscal money to go to bank to pay for duty. So in this regard, if he is in Europe and his agent work on his document and tell him all what he needs to say, give me the BOE number. He can go to Momo and then take the money from his account and pay to DOG.
Okay.
And now the charges that you have been paid for 3 million or for 1 million or for 100,000 Ghana cedis or 200,000 Ghana cedis, the charge that you have made for pay for 1% e-levy could be savings that can transport.
You have still not told me what your demands are.
No, that's the demands. That's the demand.
Your demand is that
the demands that we are expecting him, the president, to tell us that they will abolish that tax.
Okay,
they will abolish the 2% special import levy import for us.
Okay.
We are expecting the president to tell us how we are going to do the rationalization of the tax. You know, it is in his capture, it is in the manifesto, that the government will rationalize the fees and charges to make business better in the country. I'm expecting the president to come and tell us what they intend to do to stabilize
the speaker is walking in now. I'd like Mr. Paddy quickly. Yes. I mean, just a wrap so we can go to Parliament. Sorry about that.
I think my brother has chronicled everything that happened.
But why do you attend meetings without calling him?
What do you? No. It depends on the situation on the ground. It depends on the situation on the ground. You see, if he said we didn't do demonstration during the 8 years, that's not a true reflection of it. You see, you know that there are forms of demonstrations.
Right.
And then looking at the economic condition, will you ask people to always close their shop? That's not the case. So we try to identify another form of demonstration by going direct to Parliament, and then we force and make sure that some of the policies they are coming out with, we stop.
But he says that you went into certain meetings and you didn't call him.
Yeah, exactly.
You went to the presidency and all of that. You left him out. Why?
We left him out because at times his presentation is not well welcomed.
Is a troublesome person.
More than troublesome. Like he's doing this morning. Like he's doing this morning. But the fact of the situation is that,
yes,
as at the time, when the economic condition was so bad, where business communities are complaining, you can't ask them to close their shop. So normally where we go to the doorsteps of the people in authority, and then we forcefully, like recently they wanted to repeal this GIPC law where some work is preserved for Ghanaians. We went and forced it. The current Attorney General was in Parliament then. He was the chairman. He said, no, what we're saying is true. And therefore, they made sure they cancelled it.
I see.
You see, so these are some of the difficulties we're having with Asaki, that it's not always to close your shop as a form of demonstration.
The taxes that you're asking to be cut.
Yes.
Yesterday, a senior citizen asked me a question.
Yes.
Said, are we asking for these taxes to be cut so we can import?
No,
and make the countries of origin where we import from richer?
No.
Or are we asking for the taxes to be cut so that in the long run we get to industrialize then produce so that we become sufficient?
Importing raw materials is a challenge. It's importing raw material. Guta, we did some fact finding. We did some research. We went to the West Africa sub-region to find out the cost of doing business in the West Africa sub-region. Ghana was the highest. Ghana was the highest. You see, Ivory Coast, their interest rate was about 7 to 9%, compared to that of Ghana, 35 to 40%. So what we're saying, when you cut down this, you see, the current Minister of Finance said now his concern is about compliance. But there cannot be compliance when your tax regime is so complex. You see, there's no parity in the tax, like he was saying, there's no parity in the tax regime, where some are paying 4%, some are paying 22%, some are not even paying. But we are all in the same market space.
Not properly streamlined.
It's not properly streamlined. And we are all in the same market space. So if you come to the market, and I'm charging 3%, 4%, and my neighbor is not charging, and another one is charging 22%, where will you go? Obviously, you go to the one who is not charging.
That's right. Because it'll be cheaper.
It will be cheaper. So we come up with a proposal. Normally, we don't always want to resist the policies of government. We also make input into their policy. So we come up with a proposal. Let GRA make sure you register almost everybody in the market space. For example, my constituency where I'm coming from, Abosukai, I'm registered. My next door neighbor is not registered. So what happens? So I'll be forced also not to do the right thing, not to comply because of the condition on the ground. Because otherwise I'll go out of business. So we came up with a proposal. Why won't you register almost everybody? When you bring all of us into the net, as we're talking now, only about 30% on the tax net, which we know. But what is government doing to make sure the 70% come on board?
What data are you giving to government to help them help you?
That is why, so that's a governance, a collaboration. So when you're coming, the reason why at times we resist some of the policy because we don't make input into it. But I can assure you, GRA meets its target as a result of the input we give to them. So many inputs we have given to them. This is what we can do to bring some of our people on board so that we open the tax net, that everybody pay a little. When we're in class, we say if more, let's divide.
It's less, more divide.
That's what we're looking for. But when you're always concentrating on the fewer ones, the 30 hours in the net, it's like the burden on them, and it's a challenge. So we always want to assure government that we are there for. And so when we are asking the president to abolish these taxes, it's for a good reason.
But why didn't you ask the previous government to do same?
We did.
And what was the result?
We did.
What was the result?
The result was what we saw in December.
I don't understand.
The result was what we saw in December. I told you the December election was about government and business. Yes. You see, because we complained. Because, like I said, we did the fact finding. And somebody is charging. We went to even Togo.
Okay.
When you go to their port, you look at the number of ships that are waiting to dock, you have no idea. And meanwhile, the inland countries that used to patronize our port, Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso, they stopped. They all started patronizing that of Togo. They said cost of doing business in Ghana is extremely high. And you know what? The Togo government, they were so smart. They give concession to the inland countries. Why can't you do the same as a government? You see,
I understand that in our case, even if the goods are not supposed to be used here and they're only transiting, we still charge them.
Yeah, there are service fees.
So the VAT. Allow him to.
There are service fees that they charge them. That's compound to their cost of doing business. That is why they stop patronizing our places. So we are asking government that come down, sit down with your stakeholders. Let's collaborate. What can we do to get the needed? Because when our business grow, revenue will grow.
But you also know, Mr. Paddy, that the port is if you like, the biggest space for trying to get revenue.
And everybody attention is on the port.
Yeah, but if you're asking us to cut everything, then what can we get from there then?
We can get, because we are talking about compliance. We're talking about compliance, but you're not getting the needed revenue because people are not complying. They are looking for ways and means because of the tax composition or the how your tax stands.
Right.
So if you come and then restructure your tax system, because now tax rate cumulatively is about 22%. The VAT rate.
That's right.
And then when you go to the port, the duty rate is about 55%. So just imagine you import a goods worth about $100,000. You are paying a duty about $55,000 to $50,000, $50,000 to $55,000. Which businessman will comply with this?
So they always just to add to this one, so that you will understand. What is the essence of you charging me health insurance and charging me net health insurance? Charging me get fund and charging me net. When you take charging me VAT and charging me net VAT. Service fee. Charging me net service fee. What is the excess? It is the duplication of taxes. So that alone can prune down and reduce the costs. It is not for the business person alone to benefit. If the business person cost of doing business in our port prune down, what it means that you and I, when we go to market, it will reflect in our pocket.
Are you saying that if the tax cuts come, when you come to the market to buy from you,
absolutely, absolutely.
Is that really what happens?
Absolutely,
it will, because the businessman is not able to.
Because he just give you an analogy at the beginning that Abosu Kain said things that the spare parts,
At that time, what happened?
That was a Wakadri government.
That was Wakadri.
No.
Wakadri, because you deceived the whole
no.
These traders and we clap for you. We applaud. It's not that budget.
No, wait.
How we applaud?
Hold on.
It's a fashion.
At that time,
hold on.
There was something we call ETLS, the ECOWAS Trade Liberalization Scheme, where they were trying to come together to come one common tariff, and in doing so, they came out with a tariff, tariff line for almost all the West African states.
ECOWAS Common External Tariff.
Yes, ECOWAS Common External Tariff, and that was what brought the problem. Because Ghana cannot. So that is why Ivory Coast came out of it. They said it's hurting our economy. But we Ghanaians, we said we are Father Christmas, so we don't care. Because Ivory Coast said because of that, when they import rice, it's so expensive. So because they gave a common tariff for HS code for clearing of rice for all the West African states, so that there will be parity. But in so doing, Ghanaians started importing through Ivory Coast and bringing it down to Ghana. You see, because of that external tariff that they proposed and brought on board. So these are some of the difficulty we're having at Abosu Kain. Because when they brought the common tariffs, you can't charge 2% in Ghana, where Nigeria is charging 4%, because we have agreed. These are these treaties that we go out there.
How many taxes?
So that was what I was telling the vice president, the former vice president, that when he said when he can, he will give a single flat rate report. I was asking that ECOWAS Common External Tariff is there. What you know how long it will take you? Your ministers and trade ministers will have to go and negotiate.
And the difficulty we were having was that WTO, World Trade Organization, said you use transactional value to determine to assess duty. But normally when we come, they don't use transactional. The GRA man perceive the businessman to be corrupt. We also perceive them to be bullies. So there's always this friction. There's always friction. So you come up with your invoice. They say no, we went on the net. So you can't do net online business because obviously I went to Dubai, the same shop with a friend. And we bought the same item. And the guy gave it to me $5 per each. And he gave to my friend $3.5.
Why?
So I asked why. He said, your friend was the one who introduced you to me. And he's buying volumes.
Exactly, that's what. The volume that he bought and the volume that the other person bought.
He's buying about 500 pieces.
Place, but
and I'm buying just about 300 pieces.
Exactly.
So he's buying volume. So when we went to the hotel, we're comparing notes. I said, Gerard, why do you give me this? I'm going to say, it's your brother who introduced you to me, so he has some concession with me.
Right.
And so if we come to Ghana and I present my $5, and then Kwabena also presents his 3.5.
They will not take it. They will use the 5.
They will use the 5. But that is a war in the difficult situation. So the WTO says use transactional value. This is my value. But custom will come and say they give your transactional value that you came, then they will double it. Say we are benchmarking it. So if you came with 35,000, they move it to 70,000, and they divide it by half. You come back to 75,000.
And that was why I said that they didn't have any loopholes. They didn't reduce any taxes. This was the only way. So you were tighten. You want to squeeze the rock, get water out of the rock, and that was what they were doing.
So
that was why
I believe
people ran away.
I believe that if you streamline your tax regime and you want compliance to go up, then there must be some tax reforms. There must be tax education. Let's educate our people the benefit of tax. What do you do? What do you get when you pay? Then we also have to talk about expenditures.
So in total, let me just understand. How many taxes are you expecting government to cut? You called it nuisance taxes.
Yes. When we sit, we say one of the nuisance taxes is the e-levy.
E-levy?
It must go.
Okay.
That one must go.
Which other one?
We said the e-levy must go. We also spoke about COVID-19 levy must go. And then we also want to support our brothers that the betting tax must go. Everything that the president, because before president,
the special 2%.
2%
Okay.
special
Just by
levy.
law, it ought to have gone off in 2017.
The 2%. What happened was that the government came to us and said they are in difficult situation.
Okay.
And they needed some money.
We were the kingmakers.
So
they were the kingmakers.
They want us to help them raise that funds, and they want to put some 2%. When the sun sets, they will take it off for over how many
But
years?
the sun hasn't set.
The sun has set.
They deceived them. They deceived them.
No, we want
now
to be
he's crying.
We want to be patriotic.
He's sweating, yo.
No, we want
He's
to be
sweating.
patriotic.
No, he's not sweating.
Oh, the guy is sweating.
He's not sweating.
The guy is sweating.
See, we want to be patriotic. If government says we needed some funds, and this didn't happen during NPP regime, it was during NDC time.
No, it was supposed NDC time. It was supposed to go off in 2017.
Yes,
it was 1%.
It was supposed to go off.
It was 1% and 2%.
Yes.
It was supposed to go off.
Yes.
Now Haruna Idris was clear on this thing.
Yes,
But
agreed.
They came and you people went and said you accepted it.
No, because at that time, government was in difficult situation. How to pay salaries was a challenge.
So tomorrow, if John Mahama come and said that we are
why not? That's what
he said. President Mahama said they perpetrated criminal.
No,
what he saw is criminal.
Agreed, but government,
and so if tomorrow he comes and said that now that they have withdrawn they've withdrawn our grants and US aid and other things,
right.
so they want to maintain the 1% and they want to maintain the COVID levy and that. Would we agree? We should say no. We should insist. We should be principled.
Why would you say
no? We should be principled.
We are asking government. My big brother, we are asking government to get us women's banking. We are asking government to get us women's bank, where we'll get cheaper credit because cost of doing business is high. Our women go to the bank to go and borrow at the rate of 35%. So we're asking, and which the president agreed
promised that they will set up
this women's bank.
Yes.
So that the women can get cheaper credit. So if president comes to us and said, "This is the way I want to use to raise the funds for the women's banking," and we think it makes sense, why not?
But if you
you are the same person
hold on.
He was the same person when Gutta president said if government will not abolish the e-levy, they should use it for something, and you said no.
You said no because
yes, you said no.
Allow me to ask my question. Yes. So, Mr. Paddy, you take a decision on our behalf.
Yes.
By agreeing with government that let the sun is up. When it's set, we would take it off. But then we don't see the government and government officials tightening their belts.
That's our difficulty.
This 2%. So then you should be asking that person on our behalf.
That's
you cannot agree on one thing because the sun is up, and then they tell you that the sun is up.
So we told government, cut down on your expenditure. Tighten your belt, as we are also tightening our belt. So we told government, cut down on expenditure and make sure the leakage in the basket. I think we need to change that word. We don't have to use basket any longer for revenue, because the basket will leak, whatever the case is. So let's use a bucket. Let's use bucket.
It's from
basket. You see, because there's so much leakage in our revenue.
No, you didn't address the issue. He's saying that when they were asking to tighten our belt, that things are not good. We should let them collect the 2%.
We equally told them.
Yet their presidential staff were over 1,000. Yet they said they will not procure vehicles in 2023. Yet they procured vehicles. Yet they said they were not supposed to move V8 in town. Yet they were moving V8 in town. You are living flamboyant life. You benefited it.
As a result
if you didn't benefit, why do we allow that to go?
As a result of that, we've shown them what our displeasure at December.
After making us suffer for how long?
After making consumers right.
But what can we do at that time? Because when we talk and you don't listen. What do we do?
But look, Mr. Paddy, the government always comes to you before they present the budget.
Exactly.
If in year one they came to you that the sun was so scorchy and so help us with this 2%, and then you see that they are still staying under the shade while we walk in the sun.
Yes.
Year 2, they come to you.
Yes.
Shouldn't you have then in year 2 told them that, Charlie, we saw you under the shade while we were in the sun. Our skins were suffering from the heat of the sun.
Yeah, that's why we resisted some policies they wanted to bring on board in terms of raising revenue. We resisted them because what you were supposed to do, you didn't do it. Why are you then coming back to us to ask for more? Because you promised A and you did B, and you are coming back and say you need more revenue. We resisted it. We said,
look, gentlemen, we have to go.
Johnny Hughes,
yes, sir.
I want to tell my brothers that they were
your brothers and Guta.
Yes, Guta.
Okay.
That they played 100% suffer that Ghanaians suffered. Especially business community.
You say they collaborated with government to punish us.
Yes,
it's not true.
It is true.
If not because of
they
Guta,
pampered the government, the previous government. And but before they say Jack, I did not saw them. They were not crying that our capital is eroding. We cannot do business. People are closing down. People are relocated. They were not crying more than the brief, and the president reminded them. I can assure you, President Mahama will not be like that. President Mahama will not tell us that he's going to abolish, and tomorrow he will come to tell. No, he will not do like that. President Mahama asked.
Why? Do you work in his cabinet?
No. In 2015,
he's talking as a politician, but I'm talking as a pure businessman.
No. In 2014, in 2015, you were in this country. You saw how we in Guta, we hijacked your mama at custom headquarters to tell him that Simple Line wanted to introduce simple. What did they call it? The terminal ham charges. President Mahama President Mahama directed the things we did in 2016 together with these people. And from 2017 to 2028, 2024, what these people did, they were no more working with me again. Anytime I come, they say, it's our beginner's government.
Is it not a good idea if someone comes to you and said, we are moving from taxation to production? Would you buy into it?
Did they?
Of course, there's a lot of money.
But unfortunately,
it was a scam.
It didn't happen.
It was a scam, and I said it was a scam. So, that's why they said I was using harsh words on the government. I said it's a scam.
So you looked into the face of the president?
Yes, I said the scammers. I said that the scammers.
But we've had a good working relation with the current president, which of course we continue to have that good relation.
Yes. Mr. Pad, you say Awingobet looked into the face of Nanado and told him that.
They will not take me there because when I go to that meeting, I will tell the president. They will not tell me there. These people.
But we told the president.
But the president looked into their eyes. You know what the president told them? No. And that is why I think that got them angry. The president looked at it and told them, the importation that comes to this country, how much is the percentage of good import? He asked him. President looked into them and said, "What the president? The tax that they are doing." Oh, my people were there. They probably
had inside information.
He said, "What is the percentage?" He told them. That was why they even introduced the COVID levy. You know, that was the 2033 that they were supposed to present 2024 budget.
Right.
No, 2022 that they were supposed to present. But the COVID levy came in 2023 budget.
Yeah.
And
so it was introduced in 2022 for 2023.
And then 2023 they introduced that 2.5 VAT. When we said VAT was killing us, they implemented. He told them that what is their percentage of import into this country. He told them. But I don't know, they forget that when the multinational bring, or those who bring in volume, they go there to buy and do distribution, including himself here.
Anyway, let's take a quick break. I'm sure that Asaki would want me to play this song for Guta.
The best in the morning is on 92.7 Sunrise on 3.
Confidence makes me so proud. Duffy's Ohima Feminine Mixture relieves me from menstrual pain. That's true freedom.
Stay fresh all day with a formula that leaves you feeling clean and confident while effectively preventing unpleasant odor. Confidence to do the do.
Me glow wankasa. Duffy's Healthy Glow Shower Soap.
Also try Duffy's Hair Growth Cream and Snatched Herbal Tea and more.
Duffy's Hair Growth, no dandruff, no itchiness, no more black spots. Thanks to Duffy's Black Spots Cream.
Keeps the skin fresh and nourishing. You look good.
Try Duffy's today and see what it can do for you. Available in all Duffy's branches nationwide. Please call us on 0202-514-020 or 0533-776893. This advert is FDA approved.
Sometimes you believe you're carrying just enough cash to see your doctor until it's time to pay the bill. You find out to your embarrassment that carrying just enough isn't quite enough. Carry a nationwide medical insurance card. Now that's quite enough. Your health is worth protecting. Call us on 0800 22 2222 or visit www.nationwidemh.com. Nationwide Medical Insurance. Join the healthcare family.
Everyone is running to Bills. Enjoy the peace of mind that comes with acquiring any of our loan facilities. For whoever you are and whatever you're doing, Bills has a product for you. No susu, no deposits. All you need is your Ghana card. Call 0302-200-390 or 0596-928-33 today and live a bill-free life. Bills Microcredit is licensed by the Bank of Ghana. Bills, financing your needs. Terms and conditions apply.
It's the battle of the teams in a 3FM 60-day Fit Start Challenge. Which team will come up tops? Will it be Team Comfort or Team Helen? Will age and tact triumph? Or will youth and energy win? Call or WhatsApp on these numbers: 0532-300-927 or 0532-200-927. Now, to join Team Comfort or Team Helen and enjoy holistic wellness coaching, specialized diet plans, and cooking tutorials, thrilling exercises, challenges, and activities, plus many exciting rewards. 3FM Fit Start, sponsored by Duffy's Health and Beauty, Bill's Microfinance and Usual Premier, and supported by Blue Skies and the Ghana Medical Association. 3FM Fit Start, your health, your journey, your victory.
Follow us on social media. Twitter at 3FM927. Facebook at 3FM927. And also on 3news.com.
92.7 3FM. Your urban lifestyle radio.
3FM 92.7. Urban Lifestyle Radio Station.